Hi, I'm Dr. Stacie Nakamoto.
And I'm Mia Hopkins.
We're from The Baker's Notebook.
And you're watching Rise and Shine with FilAm Creative.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And for the 42nd time, let's rise and shine. So here they are. It's Ed and Rex and Ronnie.
Woohoo! Good morning, good morning, good morning? Question mark? If it is your morning, if it's not your morning, just have a good time and space wherever you're meeting us at. Welcome to Rise and Shine, guys.
Welcome. Thank you. It is the third, that's right, the third week of Women's History Month. And we at Rise and Shine hope you are enjoying our episodes. When I say we, unfortunately, our brother Rex was not with us last week, but Sister Ronnie and I really enjoyed our time with Martika Escobar. Please, her movie is getting distribution. So if you enjoyed episode 41, and if you haven't watched it yet, what's the matter with you?
That's
Go
right.
Watch it, please, and support her film, which was a Sundance winner. And next week, I know you guys are going to love this. Next week, we have an old friend coming out. It is the mayor of Artesia. That's right, the mayor, Melissa Ramoso, our special guest next week for episode 43. But today we have episode 42 of, and it's a special one because I know that Rex and Ronnie are praying that I don't mess up this name. It is Culinary Casina.
Yes.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Oh my God, Rex, I owe you a bottle of champagne.
Yes, you do.
I bet Rex a whole bottle of champagne if Ed could say our segment name correctly on the first try.
What's the name? What's the name of that? What's
you
the name
mean
of it?
Culinary Cucina? Culinary Cucina?
Yes. See,
one more
everyone
time
knows
with the
it.
Culinary Cucina.
Exactly. Welcome to the KK. Welcome to Culinary
That's
Casina.
right.
And
This
now
is
that
the first time he's got it right in the first try because
we can
42 episodes.
Yeah, I was giving the over under on I think it was 40 or something like that. I gave him the under, but he got it on the over. So you won there, Ronnie.
Did I win? I felt like I was betting against him. I was like, he's not gonna get it right. This is not gonna happen.
Well, I feel like we're all winners
him.
because if we're all getting champaign, then
Yeah.
we're all winners here.
That's
so.
right. That's
Yes.
right.
But by the way, it's a little early in the day, Ronnie. Are you drinking coffee there? Are you drinking something special?
Yeah, it's always in this mug that you cannot see the contents of. It is always just a morning friendly, non-alcoholic beverage. Always.
Very good. Well, speaking of non-alcoholic or alcoholic for that matter, funny you should say that because today we're celebrating, it's St. Patrick's Day in 2 days. This Thursday is St. Patrick's Day. By the way, just have to say for all the STEM people out there, yesterday was Pi Day. So if anybody celebrated Pi Day, but it's a week of great stuff. And we know that some of you are thinking, what can we do for St. Patrick's Day? Because, we know that some people are still a little bit preoccupied about maybe going out to a big party. And so some of you, because of the pandemic, even though we're hopefully in the final days of it, if people do what they're supposed to do. But anyway, I didn't say that. But if you are interested in having a little get together or going to a little get together and bring something, today we have some great ideas for you because we have two friends who were with us last year.
That's right.
If you were with us last year, which of course you were, you might remember from episode, I'm reading my notes here, from episode 11. Oh my gosh, and we're on episode 42. So 30 some odd episodes ago.
Oh my gosh.
We had an episode 11 for Easter. We had these ladies on for the Baker's Notebook. And from episode 26, we had one of them on. She talked about her life as a romance novelist. So we're so happy to have them back again today. We're going to bring them out one at a time, but they are the hosts of the awesome podcast, The Baker's Notebook. We hope you listen to that podcast. They're in season 3. Rex, do you have because we're going to have to do this soon. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Because I know that you did Ronnie and I just love it. Season 2. Do you have a season 3 dance since the ladies of the Baker's notebook are in season 3?
Well, I guess we're going to have to video something and put it up maybe on social media.
Ooh, can we make our TikTok premiere with Rex doing a season 3 dance?
Yeah, I'll
Season
probably
3
do
dance.
some. I'll probably thinking since it's season 3, we're getting into old school territory here. So I'll do an old school dance or something like that.
Oh,
I don't
Love
know.
it. Love
Maybe
it.
the Roger Rabbit. I don't know. Maybe the snake. I don't know.
Season 3, Rise and Shine. Season 3, Rise and Shine.
All right. Well, these ladies are ahead of us because they're already in season 3.
Yes,
but they are the stars of the Baker's Notebook, featured last time in episode 11. We're going to bring them out right now. Our first member of this awesome podcast. She is a professor of chemistry and biochemistry at UCLA, which just happens to be the alma mater of Brother Rex.
Go Bruins.
So we know he's thrilled about that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Dr. Stacie Nakamoto.
Woohoo!
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Good
Dr.
morning.
Stacie.
All right. And her partner in crime. She is a romance novelist. She is the person behind the East Side Brewery series, and she's got a new novel coming out very soon that I think we'll probably ask her about. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back a 3-time guest.
That's right.
To Rise and Shine. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for
3-time.
Mia Hopkins.
3 times Mia.
All right. So
I love it.
we have Mia and Dr. Stacie. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, guys.
So
Awesome.
excited.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Well, we know that and congratulations, you guys celebrated a few weeks ago, episode 50. We're not even that. We're only on episode 42, but congratulations on your milestone that we will be celebrating later. But you guys already did episode 50, and I just checked recently. You did, I lived in New Orleans, so that was a great king cake episode you did. I think that was episode 51 or 52. Stacie, how is the podcast going?
I think it's going really well. I'm enjoying it. The big part for me is getting to hang out with Mia once a week. And we do it remotely together, but it's still getting to catch up with her is probably the highlight of my week.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. And Mia,
It's a goal.
Mia, where can we learn more about the Baker's Notebook?
You can listen to us on every platform at this point. You can follow us on Twitter at Baker's Notebook, and we have a website called www.thebakersnotebook.com, and we have an Instagram. It's at Baker's Notebook. Yeah.
I follow, do you? And I get hungry every time.
And I guess I'll quote Ed here. It's like, for those people who are not following the Baker's Notebook, well, what's the matter with you? What is the matter with you people? You got to follow them. You got to follow them. So, hey, as we celebrate, thanks to the both of you for coming out to our show. And we're celebrating everything women in Women's History Month. So, Dr. Stacie, I just want to throw this academic kind of question out to you. Since we're celebrating women's achievement and stuff, and you as a professor, congratulations, and for being an educator to today's generation and everything. Could you just give like a general sense with your as you're teaching over at UCLA, one of the best universities in the world, by the way. But anyway, just kind of, do you have a general sense of how females are taking to the sciences? I mean, you teach chemistry, but are you seeing a general direction in women getting into the STEM professions, especially science, chemistry, math, engineering, and all that stuff?
I think we see a definite increase in women entering STEM, and I think it's very exciting. Our incoming class of graduate students, so these are students who will be chem, biochem, PhD students. We have, I believe the ratio is about 56% of them are women.
Wow.
So we're winning.
Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, so it's actually more than half.
56?
That's amazing. I mean,
I just had that information given to me at a faculty meeting the other week, and I was very pleased to hear that it's going to be more women than men in our entering class.
Yeah,
Are you ready? Are you guys ready for how much is going to get done when these women graduate? Are you ready for technology?
You know, so much of chemistry is multitasking. And I do have to say, I think a lot of women are really good at that.
And
I
you know,
mean-
a great factor into that is that, you know, UCLA is one of the best, if not one of the premier research universities in the world. And so a lot of women are getting into the more in the research and development side of the sciences and everything. So not only is it a public university, but it's also a premier research stuff. So I think that's where I think those numbers are being attributed to that. So again, sorry for those academic nerds out there, but you know, we just have to let people know that women is going to be dominating the world pretty soon. So
I mean, Beyonce asked it, and we're gonna ask it again. Who run the world? And that answer is just pretty clear. And also, we're not sponsored by UCLA, but if UCLA and or you want to make a donation to FilAm Creative, hashtag always be plugging. You can always slip your donation into our Venmo at FilAm Creative. And UCLA, if you're watching, you know, you got a couple alums here. Might as well come on and
Actually,
send us a donation.
we have 3 alum because Mia is also a graduate of UCLA.
We are more than 56% full of alums here.
that is correct.
Exactly.
That is correct. And so I'll do a shout out then to APA alum, Asian Pacific Island, Asian American alum, and also to the Filipino Alumni Association at UCLA. So guys, if you want to come in and join us, please donate. We'd love to have you on board.
So to bring it back over, so science and big, I think we talked about it last time. There was so much like science and math and baking, all of those subjects I am unfortunately not great at. So I'm great that there's other people out there who are, and those people are on our show. It's an art form, right? And another art form that I'd like to touch on is the art, because we got Dr. Stacie, but we also got the Dr. Love, Doctor of your most titillating romantic adventures in literary form.
Yes.
Mia Hopkins, the author. Mia, you had a new book come out. Now we're talking very one thing I took away from our last podcast, if you haven't seen it, check out, I think we should link it down below, right, Jer Bear?
Yeah.
We should link
episode
up
26.
Episode 26, Mia, talking about your writing journey and how you were finding just like the art and the fun out of creating the romance novels. I want to know, like, since last year, like, you have another book. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the last book that I published is called Trashed, and it's part of my East Side Brewery series, which is about 3 brothers in East LA who open up a brewery. And the thing about these brothers is that they're formerly incarcerated. Yay. And so it's about new beginnings. It's about found family. It's about regular family. It's about starting a business from scratch and starting a life from scratch. And so like this family and this world has been such a rich place for me to find stories and tell stories and find characters and really go in depth into what it means to start over with nothing. And so the last book that came out in the trilogy is called Trashed, and here's the cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So my
real.
books they're really sexy. They're a little raunchy. So there's lots of different kinds of romance. You know, there's closed door romance, meaning the sex happens behind closed doors, fades to black. And then there's my kind of romance where the doors are wide open. So, you know, if you are into that, like,
Wow.
that's what I.
Yeah. Wow. Leave the door open. There we go. So sonic reference
Tell
there.
us about
Yes. Leave
Yeah,
the door
exactly.
open.
So yeah, that's been a journey for me as an author as well, and trying to, you know, get the work done during a pandemic while watching a small child. And I'm really happy to say that my next book will be out April 26th, and it's our youngest brother, and it's called Tanked. So.
Tanked. Oh my gosh. We might have to bring you out again to talk about that
Oh
book.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Mia might become the first 4-time guest on Rise.
Oh my gosh, your poor listener.
We might have to come up with
No.
an exclusive room for, like, you know, the 5 and above club at
Yeah, like after
Saturday Night Live.
You get a special. We'll do like a special late night show where we'll just read excerpts of the book.
That's right.
We'll have Ed and Rex play all the parts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Ooh.
You and I can just sit back and listen.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm ready.
Wow.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Wow. Rise and shine after dark. Yes. Okay.
Sexy books and sexy snacks. Are we ready?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Sexy snacks. Thank you, Ronnie. Absolutely. So to learn more about Mia, you can go. Mia, what is your social media plug for your
I am on Twitter too much, so it's at Mia Hopkins XOXO, and Instagram as well. And then I have a website, miahopkinsauthor.com.
All right. XOXO Gossip Girl. There you go. So thank you, Mia and Dr. Stacie. But the good news is that even though they've just talked about their great careers, they also have their beautiful passion project, The Baker's Notebook. And they're going to talk today about stuff. So Stacie, Mia, why don't you tell us, what do you have planned? It's 2 days from now, St. Patrick's Day. Rex, Ronnie, and I want to be responsible people, have a small gathering with just a few friends. What can we do? Stacie, I think you're going first, and then Mia, you can tell us too. What are you guys going to make for us today?
Well, when I think of St. Patrick's Day, I think of the classic green beer and those giant signs and things like that. And so I instantly said, well, what goes so well with beer? And to me, it's pretzels. That's like just the classic combination.
There you
And
go.
so I wanted to make soft pretzels with you guys today because I think that's a fun thing to do. It's a great snack, and it goes perfectly with that pint of beer. And I'm gonna switch gears though, and also give you a drink, but not an alcoholic drink. I think that when March happens, something that I always look forward to is the Shamrock Shake coming out at McDonald's. And then I'm always a little bit sad when it goes away and I missed it. And so I'm going to show you how to make your own Shamrock Shake at home, so that even if it's after St. Patrick's Day and you miss it and you want to have one, you still can. So I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to start with the pretzels first. And the thing about soft pretzels is it's a yeasted dough. And anytime you use a yeasted dough, you do have to plan a little bit ahead, because there is going to be a point where it has to proof, it has to rise. So altogether, this will take about 2 hours. We'll shorten it for you all so that you don't have to sit here for 2 hours.
The power of
keep
TV.
that in
Yes,
mind.
Miracle of television.
Yes, exactly. So I have my handy mixer here with my dough hook attachment. If you're doing this by hand, you can still do it by hand, but it's going to require a lot more hand work, a lot more arm work in terms of the kneading of the dough. So I'm going to start with 22 ounces of flour. This is just regular all-purpose flour. Now, the thing with baking is a lot of times it's better to weigh your ingredients. So I actually weighed out the 22 ounces of flour, but it is about 4.5 cups if you don't have a scale.
And
So
it is
you could
better
also
to
do it that way.
weigh, because the ingredients themselves, like, they start acting funny, like, because it depends on, like, because you know how people be like putting the flour in, and like you get like the broken mug and you put it in the flour sack, and that's how you distribute
Oh, I
the
hate
flour.
that. Yeah.
Like, that's not
Yeah.
cool though, because if you're out here like, I took 2 hours to make these pretzels, something's wrong with them. It's because you're not weighing your ingredients, because you're like smashing it down or something like that.
Exactly. People weigh
Get
their
a-
cups slightly differently.
Get a scale,
or
everybody.
measurement.
You guys are great, because I'm the guy who doesn't want to wash a dish, so I'm just gonna little bit of this, little bit of that. Yeah.
It's only the handful you got. That looks like right.
I'm like,
I think
Well, the
there's
thing
a
with
cup.
baking is you do usually have to have the right ratios of things. So cooking, you can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but a lot of times with baking, the ratios do have to be right in
You
order
gotta
to get
be.
very
it
good.
to come out
point.
correctly. So
Come
and we're going to
on,
add a
science
tablespoon
nerds.
of sugar
Okay.
and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt.
Okay.
And now we're going to add a pack of dry yeast, or if you buy it in bulk, it's 2 1/4 teaspoons.
Okay.
And what I'm
Hey,
going
can we
to
talk
do is
about
I'm
like yeast really quick? Is it like
Yeah.
yeast is alive, right? So if you find like an old thing of yeast in your like back of your pantry, Is that cool to use, or should you like test it in some way to be like, are y'all alive still?
Yeah. So the way that you can test it is you can take, in this case, I'm going to be adding 1.5 cups of warm water. But what I could have done, I know my yeast is fresh, but
Because you're a
what I
professional,
could
yes.
have done, because I use it often, but what I could have done is taken some of that water and put the yeast in there first. And what you should see is the yeast will bloom about after 5 minutes. They'll actually start to, the texture changes. You'll see bubbles coming up and things like that. The yeast is alive. It is definitely
It's starting
breathing
up.
and fermenting
Right.
and doing its thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to test it, you could definitely put it in the water instead of just adding the water that I'm going to be adding, or whatever warm liquid you're doing.
Nice.
So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a mix just so that, let me put my bowl up,
Yeah.
just so that
Just incorporating
the
all the
dry
ingredients.
yeah, just so the dry ingredients mix.
Mhm.
And then the next thing is that it's 2 ounces of melted butter. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that.
Cool.
And then 1.5 cups of warm water.
As you're adding the
The
water
key
there,
with this-
doctors, as you're adding the water, is that a little more than just room temperature, or is it just a little like?
Yeah,
warmer
so warm is a little bit more than room temperature. But you don't want it too warm because
Right.
the yeast would actually not be very happy if it was too warm.
Mhm.
So yeast like to grow at about 70 degrees. So that's the temperature that they like to grow at.
Just
So
love
you
this
don't really want to
accuracy.
get it too much hotter than that.
Baking, you gotta be precise, man.
You can't kill, again, if you're gonna spend a good amount of time on this, you gotta, I am that person. It's like, you're gonna commit, everybody's gonna be alive, everyone's gonna be working. I'm really just talking about the yeast, not people. But I mean, like,
Oh wow.
the yeast is gonna be alive, the yeast is gonna be working. Don't kill your yeast with hot water, with too hot of water.
Yeah, so you definitely don't want to add like boiling water
No.
or anything like that.
No,
When I
that
say
would
warm,
just-
it's warm. It's not boiling hot.
Right.
And I measure my ingredients so carefully, and then they fall out of the bowl and get all over me.
Mhm.
Not the end of the world.
So, Dr. Stas, mixing it, are you doing a full mix, or are you just about to incorporate?
So what you should see is that it should come together,
Okay.
and eventually what should happen, it takes several minutes. Eventually what should happen is the dough will actually start slapping the side of the bowl.
Mhm.
It's going to come together, form a cohesive ball,
Yeah.
and that's when you know you're good. So we're going to just let it go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I appreciate this
And-
angle, by the way. We can see right
Oh, good.
into the
Can
bowl.
you see that? I'm glad
Yeah.
you can see it. And now hopefully you can see, Ronnie, that see how it's coming a lot more together.
Mhm.
It's a lot more
Ooh, yeah.
cohesive.
Yeah, just
And
leave it
soon
alone.
We're
Let
gonna
it do
get
its
that
thing.
where it becomes a big ball.
Slap it. Let's hear the
It's
slap.
happening very
Oh,
soon.
okay, Ronnie.
I see it. I see it. It's slapping. It's slapping.
You see it? You see
That's
how
magic.
it's now coming together?
I legit see it. No, I'm so perfect. As somebody who's tried and failed at baking things so many times, like to see this come through, it's like, what did I do? Killed my yeast, probably.
Okay, and then so now you can see that it is
Oh my gosh.
a
Wow,
nice ball of dough, right?
that's
So
beautiful.
then what you're gonna
Magic.
do is you're gonna take this ball of dough,
Mhm.
you're gonna grab a bowl, and you wanna grease your bowl.
Oh,
So I just have some canola oil here, and I'm gonna brush it in my bowl.
mhm.
And then I'm gonna take my ball of dough here, which this is how it should be. It's just nice
It's
dough.
stretchy, very stretchy.
Yeah, pretty stretchy. And I'm gonna put it down and then flip it over so that there's oil now on it, so it doesn't dry out. Then I'm gonna put a lid on it and put it in a warm place for an hour. Okay. And what will happen during that hour time is it's actually gonna double in size. And the reason it's doubling in size is because the yeast is active and growing and fermenting, and their gas bubbles are pretty much in there, and then that's creating space, little bubbles within your dough that's going to go ahead and result in it looking about twice its size. So after about an hour, it'll be twice its size. And then what you're going to do is take that and divide it into 8 pieces. And if you want, you can really weigh out that whole big ball and then use your scale and divide it into 8. But to be honest, it doesn't have to be that accurate. You can just put it down and cut it in half and then in quarters and then cut those quarters in half again.
Yeah. So
what
when
I'm
you,
taking is,
no, sorry,
Yeah.
Doctor. So when you cut it into the individual pieces, I mean, we're talking roughly what, 6 ounces, maybe 7 ounces.
I think this is
roughly.
the
let
section where we do
me
it
grab
by
my stick.
touch now. Like
I mean, it's really
switch
touch
from-
bar by look, really.
we switch from up here to in our
I can
hearts.
tell you how much
Yeah.
this one weighs.
Oh,
we
look
got
at
the
the scale.
scale.
Okay,
We
this
got
scale
the
is next
Wow.
level.
Oh, we
I've
got the
never seen a scale that
So-
big and futuristic. A STEM
This
woman
one
must have designed
weighs-
it.
100, it's about 120 grams. So, or if you want it in ounces, it's 4 ounces, 4.5, a little bit
Okay.
over 4 ounces.
Okay,
So,
that's about right.
there you
That's
go.
about right.
If you
And-
have
and then
picky
so-
eaters.
and then so now what you want to do is you want to take this dough and you want to work on a slightly oiled surface.
Mm.
Any smooth surface will do, but you want to slightly oil it. So this is that same brush that I use to oil my bowl. And I'm just going to oil my surface slightly.
Wow. Okay.
And now you want to roll it out. And so what you want is you want a long piece of dough. And so this is going to take a little bit of rolling. And you want it to be about 2 feet long. So
Yeah.
you just keep going back and forth.
A 2-foot snake dough.
Yes, a nice long 2-foot length of dough.
So, so Ronnie, tell your sister Veronica if she wants to learn this, she can go into the mall and go to Auntie Anne's pretzels or.
Yes.
you
I
know,
was gonna
any-
say
Or Wetzel.
Or pretzel, yeah, Wetzel's pretzels or something.
I
like
was
that.
gonna say
Yeah.
I love a mall pretzel more than
Don't you?
most people. I love a mall pretzel. And to see this process, it feels very like, oh, it's already done. But the fact that you like, there's a lot more thoughts and a lot more precision that goes into making the dough.
Mhm.
And then this part is just playing, but deliciously
This
playing.
is fun. This part is fun when you get to roll it out. And this is if you have little ones at home,
Mhm.
they love doing this. So if you want to involve the kids,
I'm gonna
they
try that
love
next
doing this
time.
part.
Heck yeah.
It's a fun thing. And they also love to knead dough. It's, as my daughter said, it's more fun than slime. Which is,
That's a big thing.
that's
I know them
big.
kids love that
That's
slime.
big. That's big to be more exciting than slime. Okay,
Oh
so
my gosh.
you get it to be about 2 feet long. And so that's just a back and forth motion, sort of taking your hands out to the edge. If you feel like the dough is going to crack on you because it's getting a little dry, then you can just re-oil your surface a little bit.
Just so
Because
that
you
it
definitely
doesn't
don't
stick,
want it.
just so that it doesn't
Yeah.
stick to the dough, right? Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want it to do that. Because then if as you're sort of pulling this along, if it breaks, it's really
Oh,
hard to surgically put it back together. It doesn't hold very well. Instead, you probably just want to make 2 small knots or something instead of
Mhm.
pretzel. So, okay, so then now you want it to look like a pretzel. So what you're gonna do is you bring it up like a U, put them together, twist them over,
Oh.
and voila,
Oh my gosh,
and now
it's
we have
so
a
cute.
pretzel.
Wow.
Right?
It's so that looks so simple. I only need to see that on the slow mo. It's like
Okay, and you
Can
see
you-
that? You want
Oh
me to
my
do it
gosh.
again?
I feel
Yeah,
like
no.
I feel like we need to get Jeremiah. Yeah, can you so Jeremiah, who's watching this now, Jeremiah's gonna do this part in slow-mo.
Okay, here we go.
Wow.
that was like perfect.
And
I
we
wanted to
have
like
a
commentate,
pretzel.
but I was too. Oh my gosh.
Auntie Stacie is better than Auntie Anne.
Oh, thank you. And then you want to have a parchment lined baking sheet where you put them on. And if you do all 8 at once, you're probably going to want to have 2 big sheets because 4 fits very well on a big sheet. If you 6 can fit, but 8 definitely won't fit on one big baking sheet. So then now I'm going to take you over to the stove because pretzels get boiled before they go in the oven.
Like
Oh my God.
bagels, right? Bagels will also get
Yeah.
boiled too.
Like bagels also get boiled.
Oh.
Now, the thing with pretzels is that this boiling back here actually has baking soda in it. And so you can see that some of the water has evaporated. You can see the baking soda along the side. That is because baking soda is basic. It's alkaline.
So that's just water and baking soda. Is there anything else in there?
It's 10 cups. It was originally 10 cups of water with 2/3 cups of baking soda. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pretzel in for 30 seconds into this water bath and boiling water bath of baking soda. That's going to make it so that the outside of this has a base on it. So it's basic in terms of the pH. It's a higher pH than neutral. And that's very important because heat, intense heat, and our sugars and our proteins in our dough are going to interact and do what's called a Maillard reaction in terms of chemistry. And in order for the Maillard reaction to occur, you need to have a base around it. It needs to start off in a basic environment. So that's why we need this baking soda bath. Now we pull it out of our baking soda bath and we put it onto our sheet.
Use her hands like a savage. Doesn't matter
There
if
you
it's boiling
go.
water.
Doesn't matter. You got to get it out of your bath.
Get it
And
out.
then you can take pretzel salt and sprinkle it on top.
That's when you salt it. Yes.
Yep, you salt it now. The salt will stick very well now.
Right.
And then you would boil the other one. And then if you want, you can leave some unsalted, just in case people don't want to have it salted.
Right.
And then after that, you go ahead and put it in the oven. And the reason why this baking soda is so important for that Maillard reaction is because, and why we care so much, is because that classic dark brown look, the Maillard reaction is what gives us that browning. And so we need to have a base there in order to initiate that reaction. So there is a lot of chemistry in baking. This is an example of that. And you can't skip this step. If you skip this step, you're going to have not brown looking pretzels. And so there, you're not going to get that classic brown crust that you think of on a pretzel. So it's not going to look like Auntie Anne's or pretzels. So you'll be sadly disappointed.
Now, Dr. Stacie, I know you're teaching at a much higher level in a college and a graduate level, but I just have to ask you, do you ever cook stuff with your students at UCLA?
No, I don't. I don't get a chance to cook with them, but I do often bring in baked goods as a treat when we do our journal clubs and things like that, or at least I used to. Right now, we don't eat together because if you're in an indoor environment, we try to keep our masks on the whole time, and when you eat, you have to take off your mask.
Yeah.
So
and then when I eat, it's like I'm so excited. I'm just spewing food everywhere. Yeah.
So Dr. Stacie, you put it in the oven. What's the temperature and time on
So
that?
the temperature for the oven, it is 450 degrees preheated. So it's a super hot. Like I said, that Maillard reaction, it requires intense heat as well as that base. And so it's really, really a hot oven. And it's going to be in there for 12 to 14 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the bake is fast. The bake is really fast. The thing that takes the longest time is that rise time, is that hour that we have to wait for the dough to get nice and puffy. And as you noticed, when you came out of the boiling water bath, it already did look a little bit puffier, which is nice.
I noticed that.
Your pretzels aren't so heavy.
Now, I'm just curious. You had mentioned a few minutes ago that this was kind of a similar procedure to like making a bagel. So is that kind of, if would you just have continued to boil it to make your bagel? Is it kind of the same procedure, or?
So you boil bagels, but they're not in baking soda bath. They're instead, you use some malt in your water for your water bath. So if you notice, bagels aren't quite as dark as the pretzel.
Right.
But the reason you're boiling these is so that the outer crust cooks first before you put it in the oven. And then that kind of seals that outer crust. And that's why with a bagel or with a pretzel, that outer crust has a slightly different texture than the rest of the inside, right? And that crust is really formed by the boiling process.
It's like a
And so
hard
we
crust.
boil bagels.
And then when
Yeah.
you get into the texture in the middle, that's where it's all soft
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. And you get that special chew
right.
that you get from boiling it first. Yep.
Heck
So,
yeah.
but either way, they boil and bake. So it's not boiling for the whole process.
Wow. All right.
And
So we
you don't want to
have,
skip that step, even if you're lazy.
No, I mean,
So-
like you said, Ronnie, you just waste, you wait out, you spent time weighing out all your ingredients. You waited for an hour for it to rise. That took 30 seconds.
Yep.
So
It's so fast. It was so
don't
fast.
skip out on that.
Mm-mm.
Definitely don't skip out on that.
all right. So we've got the food. So now what have we got going on here now?
So now we're going to do our special treat, our Shamrock Shake.
Oh my
And
god.
Oh,
so
this is the special
you
treat. I
recruited-
thought the pretzel was a special treat already. So.
Well, if you recruited that kid to help you roll out, if you recruited a little one to help you roll out the dough, you got to reward them while they're waiting for it to bake, right? So here we go. So what I have in here is I already have 3 cups of ice cream put into here. And then what I have here is a
It's vanilla ice cream.
vanilla ice cream, and then a 1/4 cup of milk. And to my milk, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And we want it to be green, so I'm going to add about 5 drops of green food coloring. And I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint extract. That will give us our classic peppermint flavor that we're looking for.
Is it possible to overcolor or over flavor your shake?
I think if you put too much extract in, then it can taste a little too strong.
Ooh.
One of the things about the Shamrock Shake is I'm pretty sure McDonald's is using their vanilla shake and just adding some peppermint flavor and the
Simplicity,
green,
yeah.
to it. And that's why you add a bit more. You add vanilla in addition to having it be vanilla ice cream, because that vanilla taste is there, even if you're not realizing it. You're eating a vanilla shake. So this really will remind you of that classic drive-through shake. And then so now we're just going to blend it.
Hour of blending.
An hour of blending. No.
It's called liquid at that point.
I know. I was like, isn't that going to be soup?
Yes.
I mean, for people who I know some people that I live with that don't like mint. And it's so strange because I had a Shamrock Shake kind of recently, even though I wasn't supposed to, but I did. And it's actually not that strong. It's kind of a nice balance. Yeah, right. It's kind of a nice balance of the vanilla and the mint. Like
Right.
it's not a Girl Scout cookie, but it's like
No. And that's why, it was only a 1/4 teaspoon of that extract to 3 cups
Like-
of ice cream. So
wow.
it was really not a lot of mint. So it's more like a little hint of mint. I think it's fun to serve
kiss.
it in a fun glass and do it a little bit nicer than McDonald's does. Top it with a little cherry.
Ooh.
Oh,
And there
That
you
pop
go.
of color though, that pop of color. I love it.
now Rex
So
and
good
Ronnie,
Shamrock
Rex and Ronnie know what my favorite thing to drink is. So I have to ask you, Dr. Stacie, have you ever put like Irish cream in there for a little kick?
I have not, but that would be delicious. If
Oh,
you
yes,
want,
it
you
would.
could do Irish cream. And maybe I would omit the mint and instead just go with the vanilla and the Irish cream.
Yeah.
I think that
So-
would be a lot of fun.
So
That would be
Ronnie,
the
tell
Ed Rock
Manny
shake.
Mars to just substitute Bailey's for the mint, and then Manny Mars will be happy. So
Yes, that would
Yeah.
be the
That's a
Ed
good-
Rock shake. Yes.
The Ed Rock shake. Oh my god, the Ed Rock shake. I mean, I like the mint and ice cream because mint, like we might get into a chemistry talk about this, but mint like tastes cold. Peppermint
Oh yeah.
Yes,
tastes cold.
it does, doesn't it? And then that's also why you get the excuse to color it green, right?
It's-
Because the mint makes you think of green. So I
That
think
is-
that's why.
Your brain.
That is beautiful.
Your
That
brain.
is.
That looks great.
It's so freaking cute. It could be an emoji. I'm ready.
All right. Well, if you are a student at UCLA, you need to suck up to Dr. Stacie to bring some of this awesomeness to class. Thank you, Dr. Stacie. And
Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Thank you.
yes, and in
Oh my
about
gosh.
30 seconds after we pay some bills, maybe 60 seconds, we're going to come back, and then Mia Hopkins is going to have some awesomeness as well.
Oh, hey. I know what you're doing. You're sitting there liking what we're doing over here. So do me a favor. Hit that like button. Add a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you feel. What are you waiting for? Do it now.
Hey, did you know that you can make a tax-deductible donation to us? Check it out. Rise and Shine is produced by FilAm Creative, and we're an official registered nonprofit organization. So if you like programming like Rise and Shine, why don't you Venmo us a couple of bucks, some quid, and we'd really appreciate it. So you can Venmo us at FilAm Creative. That's at FilAm Creative. And hey, thanks for watching Rise and Shine.
Okay, and we are now back, and wow, that was awesomeness. But now we have romance novelist Mia Hopkins, the partner in crime for the awesome podcast Baker's Notebook, Baker's Notebook, Baker's Notebook. Please visit them and subscribe to their podcast wherever you get your podcast. Mia, happy St. Patrick's Day, happy day after Pi Day. And Mia, what are you going to do for us today?
Hi guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. So Stacie made an absolutely beautiful pretzel and a really delicious Shamrock Shake. And for me, these are like party foods, right? And so I thought maybe, since I'm writing romance, you wanted to have a St. Patrick's Day dinner date at your house. And so I was trying to think of an Irish dish that people associate with St. Patrick's Day. And I thought about corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah.
And so I was reading a little bit about how this came to be a popular St. Patrick's Day dish. And it is, but only in the United States. This is an Irish American thing.
Mhm.
And what it was is Irish immigrants from Ireland to the United States. They were used to pork roasts. And way back when, pork was more expensive than beef. And so they adopted beef and corned beef as a replacement for the pork. Being Filipino, I thought to put the pork right back in. So,
Come through
yes.
history.
Party time.
do you see how the podcast goes? Like Stacie gives you the details and all the science, and I just go on and on about the stuff I read on Wikipedia.
It's fascinating, and if you'd like more, you can subscribe to the Baker's Notebook podcast. The Baker's Notebook podcast will have your science.
If we had a
your
graphic, we could just say Filipinos equals pork. You know, that'll just be right there.
Love
you
it.
know. Oh my gosh, that is.
So today I'm going to be making a pork loin roast, which is really easy to do. And I'm going to be making some dressed kale. And there's going to be a little bit of an Asian flavor.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find recipes that you could prepare for somebody coming over that are kind of festive, but also recipes that you would feel comfortable making in the middle of the week for yourself. And these are some of our favorite foods that we eat during the week. So I'm going to start with the greens, and then I'm going to do the pork loin. And then just to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to be making a cocktail called the Irish Buck to kind of top it.
There you go.
All right, so I'm going to start with greens. And what I did with these greens is, let me see if I can move the camera so you guys can see a little bit better.
So this kale is taking in place of the cabbage in the
Exactly. Yeah, you can use cabbage, you can use chard, you can even use spinach if you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
So what I did here, and this is an idea that I stole from a really great, I found her on Instagram account called The Korean Vegan. It's her last name is Molinaro.
I
And-
love the Korean vegan.
Don't you love her? Oh my gosh. This is a recipe adapted from her. It's a little bit simplified, but it's dressed kale. That's her recipe. So what you do is you take kale. You can use bagged kale, or you can get like the head of kale from the market or your farmer's market, chop it up and wash it. And you simply boil it. It's so easy. You boil it in hot water I did this for 2 minutes. And it just turns nice and soft. You can do the stems and all, and they turn, they're very tender. They're not mushy or anything like that. Depending on what kind of greens you use, you can do it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 4 minutes. Just watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what you do is you fish out all of that kale from your boiling water and you dump it into a bowl of cold water. And what that does is it stops the cooking so it doesn't get mushy and it doesn't turn gray. Yeah, I know. Cool it down. And what I do is I put it in one of these colanders and I just kind of squeeze it out with my hands.
Right.
And so make sure it's nice and dry.
Right.
And that's the most complicated part, is just squishing out the water. And that's not that complicated.
So Mia, when you boil it, then it's not to a full wilt, basically. You still want to have that texture when you chew into it, basically, right?
Right. And the thing is with greens is if you're boiling them, you've got to watch them because they can go mushy really fast.
Yeah.
And then of course, like very quickly put it in cold water. And that, I think that's the key to why these are so good. After that, I've got my bowl here and just dump it. This is so easy. I couldn't believe how easy this was.
Wow.
Put it in a bowl. And here's the Asian in me coming out. St. Patrick's Day, guys. Is a little bit of sesame oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not too much on the sesame oil.
Yeah, it's very strong. It's very potent.
Also, sure.
Let's see, and a little salt. You know, just eyeball it, depending on how much you boiled and how much you.
Eyeball it. There you go.
There you
There you
go. There you go. Ed.
Me.
Yes, there you go, Ed.
Right brain, right? I'm like, as much as you feel
Yeah,
like.
a little bit of this.
And then to make it look pretty, if you've got them, some sesame seeds.
Oh.
I love a
okay.
sesame seed like
Okay.
in a green. I think it takes it next level.
There you go.
Wow.
So
And
easy.
Very
Yeah.
simple. Then a simple toss, maybe, right? Yeah. Just simple.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be hot. I serve this at room temperature.
Oh.
And it's like, it doesn't, I mean, it's really pretty, but it's
Yeah.
not fancy. And the thing is, this disappears from my table. Like everyone
Cute.
does it, and it's so easy to make. So that's what's going to accompany our pork. And then you just set that aside.
Cool.
All right, so that's
That was ridiculously easy.
I love easy. And that's the thing that I love about our podcast and Cooking with Stacie is that we kind of like, I'm going to come down,
Yeah.
is we talk about how the recipes are put together, not just the result and not just the ingredients, but how the person who originated them like lays out the instructions and the order that things are done and what makes sense and what doesn't in a home kitchen. And I've learned a lot about cooking from Stacie, and I've learned a lot about cooking by failing. We fail fail recipes all the time.
I know that one. Yeah.
Oh, I know that feeling.
You know, that's where you learn the most as long as you try again.
Yeah.
You know. All right, so pork. Ready for pork, guys?
Oh man.
Oh man.
You didn't even have to ask
Woo.
that. So.
To our Filipino audience out there, get ready, man. Get ready.
Get ready for pork. As a romance novelist, I chose a kind of suggestive cut of pork, which is the pork loin. Sorry, guys.
Suggestive pork.
I was gonna say yes. It
No,
in the true
I love it.
I'm
true
totally
Mia Hopkins style.
So pork loin is very easy to cook in the middle of the week. It doesn't take long.
Okay.
And you just toss it in the oven. So you can use any kind of like spice rub you like, whatever you have in your pantry, whatever looks good in the store. Today we're going to be making a spice rub. So I've got here big bowl.
Yep.
And I've laid out my ingredients on a plate just so that you can see them.
Oh my God, that looks like a spice market right there.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's all like supermarket stuff. It's not terribly hard to find these ingredients. So
Oh,
I'll
nice.
take you through it.
Nice.
Here's a cup of brown sugar, and it melts down in your marinade. This is smoked paprika. which smells amazing.
Wow.
Cumin, fennel seed,
Ooh.
which tastes a little bit like light licorice.
Yeah.
You just use a little. I've got here cayenne, of course, garlic.
You have to have
Forgot that
garlic.
garlic. You gotta have that one.
This is 5 cloves. This is a lot of garlic.
Ooh, okay.
And then I'm adding the zest of 2 limes and also the juice of 2 limes.
Okay.
So I'm just going to toss this all in my big bowl. And use this.
Yeah, just dump it all in there.
Go in there.
And then the garlic, it looks like you did a mince on there, or you did almost like a
Was that a
puree
smash?
or
Yeah,
smash.
You know, it's minced garlic. And
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago watching, I can't remember the name of the show, Alton Brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good eats. That's good eats.
He was talking about how he doesn't like certain cooking tools, like garlic presses, because they only perform one task in the kitchen.
The unitaskers.
If you're Filipino, how often do you do garlic? Like, that's an important task. So I love my garlic press. Sorry, Alton Brown.
You know, I recently just bought a garlic press and it like changed my life. Like, why am I over here doing the most with this garlic when I just need it? I just need it.
I just need it now. I don't need to show off my knife skills to anybody. I need crushed garlic.
Exactly.
Fresh garlic, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, the other ingredients, you got some great ingredients there, Mia. You got the cayenne for the heat. You got the lime for the acid. You got the zest to break it all down. Paprika. Wow.
Are those 2 limes that I zested?
Got it.
So this is going to add the little bit of moisture that you need to hold the rub together when you rub it on the board.
Yeah. Bring that acid there.
Yeah, it's really, this is based on a recipe that originally used grapefruit. So you can use any citrus
Oh, okay.
that you've got. And I thought limes would be good because it would go well with the cocktail.
Yeah, I think especially in the Hispanic and Mexican culture, they use a lot of oranges with their pork.
Cuban food? Yeah,
Cuban
totally.
food, yeah.
You need
for
that
sure.
that acid, right? I think to the building blocks of the food flavors, it's like salt, fat, acid, heat.
Oh,
And
I love her. Nostra, yeah.
You have like all of those in there right now. So it's like when you're cooking and you're like tasting, you're like, if something's off, you probably either need more salt or more fat or more acid, more heat. So you got the fat with the sesame oil that's going on the kale, but it's like going to be paired together. So you got like some of the fat there. You got salt in there, you got acid with the limes, and then you got the cayenne with the heat, and then everything else is a bonus.
There's
Yes.
it's just, you can play around with this part. Like I said, if you have a pre-made rub, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you've got some spices in your kitchen that you want to use up and experiment with, like, just do it. This is the cooking portion of our podcast. We like to also do recipes that you can make for dinner. So we do breads and pies and pastries, but we also do savory stuff. All right. Here's the suggested part.
Yes.
Take your pork loin, put it in the room. All right.
Yeah.
That's as hot.
Let it roll around in there. Let it roll around in there. Yes.
And like,
yes.
I like to use my hands. You can use your rubber spatula. And some people like to marinate meat for a long time. But like I said, like if you're facing a busy work week, 15 minutes is fine.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just let it sit in there. Get friendly.
Let it get
I'll
friendly.
wipe my hands really quick.
I mean, especially this is a loin, so the loin doesn't have a whole lot of marbling in it. It's a pretty good lean piece of meat. So you want to try to infuse some more flavor into the loin itself. So when it comes out, it just comes out very juicy and everything.
It actually has the seasoning on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So to cap off our dinner,
Yes.
how about a cocktail, guys?
Oh.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
this cocktail is called an Irish buck. And the Wikipedia
Hell yeah.
is
Expert.
yeah, I know. The Irish buck comes from Prohibition, And so people used to drink like carbonated beverages, and they were called the horse's neck.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Okay.
And so, you know, on the slide, bartenders would add hard liquor, and that would make the horse buck.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So this is
yes.
basically a ginger ale or a ginger beer with whiskey.
Oh.
And this is one of my favorite drinks. I
Oh.
love this drink.
Nice.
If you're a whiskey like newbie, I highly recommend. We're not sponsored.
Oh, Jameson, yes.
I love Jameson. I think that Jameson is a good mid-priced whiskey. It's good for beginners. Irish whiskey in general is a lot more mellow and fruity than, say, a Scotch, which has peat and smoke and is kind of like a heavier, more intense experience, shall we say.
And it smells like my dad.
Shout out to John Bernardo there. You know, check out this episode, John, when you get the chance. Yes, shout out to John Bernardo about the whiskey.
I mean, I like Scotch, but also if you're going to a party and you're going to be with people who don't usually drink the brown liquor.
The brown liquor.
The brown.
Yes, Ed, shout out to John Bernardo. So we're going to do that shout out to him right now. Yes. Yes.
Peloton of One, episode 39. There you go.
Yes. Okay.
Fill a small glass with ice.
Yes.
This is the easiest thing. And you take your Jameson, and we're going to do 1 part Jameson to 3 parts ginger ale or ginger beer.
Nice.
I don't know. Eyeball it.
That's an eyeball.
There you go. There you go. My kind of cooking.
That's a good pour. Sorry, guys.
Yes, that's a very good pour.
And I like ginger flavored things, so I got some ginger beer that's pretty sharp.
Oh,
Yo,
the
no,
beer
no,
would do it for me.
Not
Yes.
sponsored, but that brand of ginger beer is so good.
Yeah, this one is Reed's, and I got the extra gingery one.
Yeah, the extra
Oh.
gingery one is like, it's if you love the ginger, if regular ginger ale is not spicy enough for you, it doesn't have the kick.
I would prefer the ginger beer myself, but yes.
It's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
That looks beautiful.
It really does. And I am one of those people who don't really like the brown liquors, but when it's paired with ginger, it's like something different happens.
And you got the slice of lime there.
Freaking adorbs.
Oh,
Cheers.
God.
Cheers, guys. Happy
Oh my
Happy
Okay,
St.
slime
Patrick's Day.
And that just looks so easy. And then real quick, Dr. Stacie, can we see the finished pretzels?
Yes.
Wow. Cut the pork while you
Fun
look.
way. I like to serve it with some spicy hot mustard.
Okay.
And
I was going to ask you, Dr. Stacie, your sauce of choice. I mean, I've seen a cheese sauce at some Irish pubs. I've seen mustard, various types of mustard. You go with
whatever
spicy
you want.
mustard.
And then I think it's fun to put it on like a mug tree.
Yes.
And
I
let
was gonna
people-
say, heck yeah.
That looks great.
And you
Oh
just
my
let people
gosh.
go at it. You just like
I feel
And
like
then
I'm
let
at a
people go
beer
for it.
garden right now. I feel like I'm at a beer garden being served all that stuff. That is awesome.
And then-
Mugdell, that's a good hack. I was like, oh, fancy pretzel tree, only for pretzels.
Nope.
Like, no, girl.
And then Mia,
Took
what
off
have we
all the
got?
coffee mugs.
Mia, what have we got going on over with you? Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
There's
Oh
your
my-
sliced pork, and there's your kale. Super easy, guys, and your cocktail.
So, Mia, when you put the
Balance
pork
breakfast.
loin in the oven, what's the time and temperature for that?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. It is 375, and depending on the size of your pork loin, it's between 30 and 45 minutes.
Okay.
Make sure to do internal temperature. I did 160 just to be
Yeah.
sure.
That's usually the right, yes. Oh my gosh, that looks
gosh.
fabulous.
Right. It looks like a restaurant meal, but it's super easy.
Oh my gosh.
That
So
is
we
a
have-
restaurant meal to me. I'm like, what vegetables that are seasoned? Hold on.
Oh my gosh. So we have pretzels, we have Shamrock Shakes, we have alcohol galore at Mia's place with pork and kale. My goodness, this is fantastic.
Are you following us on socials? What? You're not? How dare you? I mean, you totally should. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We even have a mailing list. We're at Rise and Shine FAC. That's Rise and Shine FAC. Or click like here. It'll take you right there. You don't got to do nothing else. So what are you waiting for? Like us, follow us, subscribe. See you there.
We should probably go ahead and put a bow on this episode. So
Yes.
we really want to thank once again our good friends, Dr. Stacie and Mia Hopkins, for spending
Yes, thank
another
you.
morning with us on episode 42. Please catch them on the Baker's Notebook one last time. Mia Hopkins, where can we find the Baker's Notebook online?
We have a website, thebakersnotebook.com, and we're on Instagram and Twitter at Baker's Notebook.
And where can we learn more about your books?
Yes.
You can find me on my website, which is miahopkinsauthor.com, and on Twitter, too much, at Mia Hopkins XOXO.
Awesome. Okay. And we're going to do a service to Mia and Stacie and not tell you where they live so that you don't go and take their food right now. Like, I really want to go to their houses and take the pork and pretzels. But anyway,
Oh my God.
thank you so much for joining us for episode 42. So we're going to put a bow on this. On behalf of our friends, Dr. Stacie and Mia, and my good friend Ronnie, wherever she is, and my good friend Rex, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
Ed, we
good
almost
morning.
again. We
No.
Good
almost
morning,
made
guys.
it.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I heard we were doing a pie day episode, and
No.
we invited people from the Baker's Notebook, and I was like, what does that have to do with pie? If you guys want to know about pie, pie is the secret to the universe. Pie is
Oh.
infinite, yet definite, yet sacred, yet not sacred.
Are we
Pie
really-
is
are we
life.
really
Dr.
getting
Stacie,
wisdom?
can you flunk her, Dr.
Pie
Stacie?
is
please?
life. Do you want to know pie to 100 places?
No.
I know right off
No.
the top of my head, and not
Oh, I'm
because
sure
of
you do.
Wikipedia. It's
Oh my gosh, here we go.
3.14159265358979322384365367 Gryffindor, Slytherin, Sagittarius,
Oh my
Kokomo,
gosh.
Beach Boys.
Oh.
You all know the rest. I just want to tell you happy St. Patrick's Day from the Del Amo Mall. I wish I was there.
Oh my God.
And,
Oh,
you know,
God.
just so everybody else knows, Rise and Shine was created, edited, and produced by these guys over here. That one with the weird symbol on his shirt, and that one in the bright green shirt. So thank you for everyone who's here, and thank you. And now you may listen to the next 42 minutes of me saying pie in more places.
Oh my goodness. Stop. Stop.
Thanks
stop,
for joining
stop.
us. Now, where was I? 264-338-3279.
No, you're fired. Fired.
502-884. Did you know that pie goes on for like a really long time? Didn't know.
No.
Didn't know at all.